very much, Chair. In the 3 years I've been on this authority, this issue has always been there in the background. And I think the purpose of the amendment is to bring into the public arena some of the concerns that I've expressed privately to the Commissioner and to officers. What we've been presented with feels more like an aspiration document rather than a decision, or in principle decision document. And I'm unclear that, well, to my mind, changing shift patterns should be about, is a means to an end, and it's not an end in itself. I'm unclear what that end is and what we're trying to achieve. Throughout the documents that we've received, it points towards aspirations of higher quality service without specifics of what that aspiration is. As a group, we robustly support a reform, and key to that reform, we recognise that the configuration of our frontline firefighters is part of that. And drivers are clear, particularly for drivers for reform, are clear, particularly in the midst of a recession. I think we recognise that the duty system hasn't changed for decades. I think since the days when the fifth watch went, I believe, from my history of firefighters.
We were born, Kent.
So therefore, it's unlikely that the current duty system responds to the needs of either our modern capital or our modern workforce. I think there are lots of sound arguments to what we've seen. I agree, and we agree, that firefighters should be more available at times where of peak demand. I think that's very eminently sensible. We agree that firefighters should be more available to carry out fire prevention work. And we also agree that the training needs of our operational staff should be met. We want firefighters to be working to the safest standards possible in the difficult and dangerous job that they do. But the $64,000 question for me is, why are we doing these changes? What is it we want to, where we want to end up at the end of it? I'm uncertain and I'm unclear as to what extent the current needs of training and community safety aren't being met. As somebody who was chair of the community safety panel, our targets were met year after year, and we're met year after year, and the targets were exceeded. Training, I look through what the Audit Commission said about our training, big tick next to it, and they seem happy with what we are doing in terms of training. And for whoever drafts our reports, likes to remind us in every first paragraph we are performing excellently as an authority. So I'm uncertain where the gaps are in our service. I don't know where the gaps are. What is the driver behind us? And if I'm honest, I don't feel that I'm wiser from the information that we've been given. A business case to me should clearly outline what the need is, and I don't know what the need is. Before we embark on a process which is going to cause significant disruption to what is a tried and tested system that keeps London safe, something which is going to cause significant disruption to the lives of thousands of members of our workforce, and disruption to the business of our brigade, we want to be clear on this side why we're doing it. Also, as Finance Chair, we have lots of talk about financial constraints that we face in the future, but there's very scant detail as to how these changes will impact on our finances. If we look at paragraph 2, it talks about tight resources, but there's no detail as to their impact on resources. And also, in the head of finances section for comments, there are no comments. There's nothing there. There's no comment. To me, which is something which is a monumental decision, as far as I can tell, one of the biggest decisions we'll probably make this authority this year. There is no financial comment. In terms of what we aspire as a group, what we want is, I think, we want to work with our workforce. They are key to delivering success, and I know you recognise that, and I know officers recognise that, but we want to bring that along. I've been concerned by what, if I'm honest, about the Tory group's approach to engaging our workforce, and particularly the Chair's recent comments on imposing a pay freeze next year before we even started the negotiations or discussions. It doesn't seem, it seems to be seeking conflict rather than consensus. And that's
just
not
following Liberal Democrat power leaders.
That's not, well, not when it comes to firefighters. And when it comes to something like working patterns, we should be looking for consensus. And the first step to that is the clarity of what we seek to achieve. And our amendment, and the amendment which I hope gets support for Labour, is seeking for clarity. Because I'm pretty sure if I don't understand why we're doing it, our workforce won't understand why we're doing it. And I think that's key to the process.
I think your remarks to
I will. I think the Commission will recognise it's not the first time I've made these concerns, or I've echoed these concerns, and I want to make it clear that what we're saying is we're not saying no to change. What we're saying is that we just want to know why we're changing and what we're going to change into. But I think that summarises what I meant.
Councillor Shah, are you seconding the amendment?
Chair, yes, I formally second this amendment. As a starting point, I'd like to make it absolutely clear that yes, we are a highly successful authority. We do have tried and tested shift patterns and working arrangements, but that does not mean that no change is an option. We need to look at how we can improve our practices, our working patterns, and that is where I do welcome this paper. It is a very difficult, I think it is one of the biggest decisions that this authority will be making, which will have a wide-ranging impact. And that is where, having got this far, having been struggling for at least last 5 years that I know about, to look at what might be the best effective way of bringing about changes, I think that we need a bit of time to reflect, get some more information, which is what has been indicated in item number 3 of this report. I want to be absolutely sure that we have researched, looked at other models in terms of the other similar authorities like West Midlands, Manchester, Yorkshire, etc. They have embarked upon, they have instigated changes. I'd like to have more information. Some has been offered to us today, but I think we want to see how they have performed, what the impact has been, both positive and negative, learn lessons, and then I think move forward based on objective analysis and information before us. I'd also like to see greater amount of dialogue, communication between the officers and the groups and the members, because there's a lot of good stuff in the paper, but certainly there has been some serious criticism as well from the FBU. We need to have that clear dialogue, which has been missing, which is so critical if you want to carry members' confidence in what we're doing, and indeed confidence of the FBU and the staff to bring out such major changes. So, as I've said before, I'm not against per se changes, but we need to be absolutely sure that what we are bringing about is relevant to this authority, that we work pretty hard for collective agreement, which is what certainly FBU has also indicated, and I think it's in the interest of everyone that we do then end up with the authority which is effective in whatever modern training that we require, and sufficient time allocation through shift changes, indeed the community safety work, and so on. Of course, the whole approach towards fire rescue and fire prevention is different than what used to be when the current shift patterns were put in place. So change needs to happen, but we need the time to reflect, and that is why I would commend that we look at what is being sought through this amendment, and come back at the next authority meeting having exhausted the process, and then take a decision which is well informed and backed up by confidence, full confidence of all members, and hopefully FBU and the staff as well.